Hello and welcome back to Vault Holocron, where today I am going to explain the Zeltron species. Zeltrons were sentient humanoids. Zeltrons had skin which could be varying shades of red and would become a deeper red when they were angry, could have black, white, brown, pink or purple hair, and could have white, green or purple eyes. It was alleged that Zeltrons gave off pheromones that could calm people and make people like them. Zeltrons felt amplified feelings from those around them, particularly those they cared about. Zeltrons were taught from the first day of grade school not to be led by their emotions. Zeltrons spoke Zeltron. Now I will explain some notable Canon Zeltrons. First up is Aflas, a female con artist who worked on Nar Shaddaa during the time of the Empire. She worked with Lench and Lunu to run a spice den scam, in which Aflas would coax off-welders to go with her into the spice den and order an off-menu sampler. She likely used her Zeltron abilities to help with this. Then, Lench would give the off-welder an extremely high bill and threaten violence if it wasn't paid. The scam was very successful. Aflas and Lench eventually shut Lunu out of the scam, despite it being his idea. Lunu recorded this in the Smuggler's Guide. Next is Sargo Anaximander, a male who was the regent captain of Nightside, a mining colony around the Razar. Dathan, Miramir, and Ray landed on this colony, seeking his help, after being directed there by Flight Surgeon Dina Dipole. She had been unable to help them herself, and so figured that Anaximander would be able to. Lando and Luke were trying to track down Dathan, Miramir, and Ray in order to protect them, and so followed them there using Dipole's report. Lando trusted Anaximander because he aided the rebellion. Dathan, Miramir, and Ray were arrested on arrival at the station, but Anaximander came to their aid and placed them in his guest quarters. In actuality, he was imprisoning them because they had a 90% biometric match to the bounty submitted by Ochi of Bestoon. Anaximander contacted Ochi to claim the bounty. Anaximander was to prepare the captives for transfer. Anaximander had the family move to his private yacht, the Goldstone. The family were told that they had been provided new identities and transportation to a secure site. The family had suspicions. Lando and Luke arrived at the station, and once they arrived, the droid Crush Pirates of Bestoon, associates of Ochi, raided the station. Luke felt a disturbance in the Force, and so Lando went to help the family alone. Lando had R2-D2 release the Goldstone from its landing constraints. Dathan, Miramir, and Ray flew the Goldstone away to the ice field around Derazar. Anaximander angrily confronted Ochi about the raid on his station. Ochi was angry that Anaximander had let the family escape. Anaximander tried to renegotiate, stating that he had a tracker on the yacht, but was killed by Ochi. Now for Danny Gamil. By 4ABY, Bib Fortuna selected Gamil to be part of a team for a difficult job for Jabba. The Rhodian Cheedo Joe and the human Rick Jewel were also selected. Jewel had worked with Gamil and Joe before and was unhappy to be working with them again. Next up is Malai Day, a female Jedi around during the High Republic era. She grew up with Gela Natai in a Jedi temple. She would frequently go into the forest around the temple to listen to the Force independently. Day became a Wayseeker. A Wayseeker is a Jedi which wished to act independently of the Jedi High Council. Next is Larica Damaris, a female member of the Resistance. Before joining the Resistance, she became notable for destroying an illegal weapons cache, despite not actually having anything to do with its destruction. She joined the Resistance to live up to the heroic image the story had painted over her. She was a cadet in J Squadron. After a month of training, she and the other J Squadron members were sent on a scavenging mission to the swamp planet Vodran. They faced trouble with the dangerous creatures on Vodran, such as Rancors and Sarlacs. One of the squad members, Klimo, was thought to be killed by a Rancor. They encountered the First Order and were taken to a prison base. One of the J Squadron members, Joe, pretended to be an Imperial spy. However, eventually Joe was discovered to be a Resistance member. Damaris and J Squadron, except for Joe, escaped the prison. They found out that Clemo survived and stole a TIE fighter. J Squadron mounted an attempt to save Joe, who was taken to Starkiller Base. They did their rescue while Starkiller Base was being destroyed, and were successful in saving Joe. Now for Rick Ferrazzi, a female reporter during the High Republic era. She tried to investigate the path of the Open Hand on Downer. She had never sold a story before, and chose the path after their involvement in the Battle of Jedha. She was invited to stay in the path compound by Marda Rowe, where she became sick with an unknown illness. She was discovered unconscious by 2 Jedi and taken to get medical attention. The doctor found that she had been poisoned, but was unable to save her life. Next up is Forza, a female fortune teller who worked in Coruscant's lower levels. At one point in time, Amelin Holdo was looking for a lost museum on level 4 of Coruscant. She visited Forza with Leia Organa, and Forza guided them in the right direction. Forza seemed to have Force-like abilities, like knowing things about people without speaking to them. She used a Liga crystal for her fortune telling. Next is Yosro Modal, a female artist around during the Clone Wars. She was notable for her sensual illustrations she made for semi-prescribed holo periodicals. Modal agreed to work for the Galactic Republic to escape an obscenity charge. She produced the Republic propaganda poster, Keep Our Republic Secure, which reminded citizens to regularly wipe their droids' memories to prevent the leak of secrets to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Now for Clias Terradine, a male Jedi Padawan around during the High Republic era. He studied at the Jedi Temple on Alaris Prime and was friends with the Padawan, Tylera Yorick. They both studied under Master Sibaba. Sibaba lectured him on his lack of humility. Terradine believed that Yorick should be more like him. At one point in time, he discovered the Archive of Forbidden Artifacts, a bogan collection of dark-side artifacts. He later found a sanctum of the Yallow Fellowship, a group of long-dead Darksiders, on Mount Bigja. Terradine convinced Yorick to go to the sanctum with him, despite her not wanting to go. Yorick was concerned about being expelled, the dark side nature of the Yallow Fellowship, and the disapproval of Master Sibaba. They both climbed Mount Bigja, with Yorick losing her grip and almost falling, having been saved by Terradine. Terradine walked vertically up the mountain, saying that he had learned this force ability from the teachings of the Sabraki sages, a group of Zevonians. Terradine and Yorick made it into the sanctum. In the shrine, Yorick saved Terradine from a booby trap he triggered. In the shrine, Terradine discovered artifacts, such as the Yellow Saber and a Vitalicron. Yorick tried to convince him to leave the artifacts, saying that it would be dangerous and immoral to take them. Terradine examined the Vitalicron, which unlocked in his hands, releasing its contents. Terradine was taken over by the Yellow and attacked Yorick. Yorick tried to help him, but ended up having to kill him. After this incident, Yorick left the Jedi Order, and Terradine's death was covered up. Next is Unidentified Zeltron. They were a resident of Blackspire Outpost on Batuu at the time of the war between the First Order and the Resistance. In 34 ABY, they were thrown off their feet whilst enjoying a glass of blue milk by Romex Io, a criminal fleeing First Order stormtroopers. The Zeltron shouted at Io. They were killed when a blaster bolt meant for Io hit them in the chest. Next is Unidentified Jedi, a female Jedi around after the Jedi Purge started. She escaped to Firana, where the bounty hunter Jakardis captured and imprisoned her. She was found by the former Jedi, Iskat Akaris, who killed her and 2 other Jedi on the planet. These kills earned Akaris her title as the 13th Sister. Now for Unidentified Jedi Youngling, a male youngling around during the final decades of the Galactic Republic. He was a student at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where he often trained with fellow youngling Caleb Dume. He attended a lecture by Master Obi-Wan Kenobi in the temple's central security station, in which Kenobi explained about the Jedi Beacon, a beacon which would call Jedi across the galaxy back to Coruscant. The Zeltron later made fun of Dume for asking a lot of questions about the beacon. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.